These young Americans sent a message to terrorists everywhere. A message: you can run, but you can't hide.
I almost felt like standing up and cheering for President Reagan. He's done something.
A plane today on the ground of a NATO base in Italy. Symbol, finally, of U.S. can-do, will-do. Symbol of poetic justice. Hijackers intercepted by U.S. jets and forced to land here, so they will finally face the justice of a jury. Good evening, this is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. What a difference a day makes. An amazing, daring U.S. intercept of the plane bearing 4 men accused of hijacking the Achille Lauro. Tonight, instead of safe passage from Egypt and out of range of justice, they are in Italy and charged with murder, hijack, and other charges, courtesy U.S. Navy jet pilots. Whatever an Italian jury may decide, the United States still wants them tried here separately. Another surprise development today, President Reagan announced that he has had more skin cancer cells removed from his face, but says he is fine. More about that later. Leslie Stahl at the White House and Richard Roth in Rome begin our coverage of the day the U.S. took terror, captured it, and cut it down to size.
At the White House, aides called it hitting the jackpot in Sicily, the best 2 days the president has had in a long time. Mr. Reagan spoke about the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who were deployed.
These young Americans sent a message to terrorists everywhere. A message: you can run, but you can't hide.
Justice Department lawyers prepared extradition papers for the 4 hijackers. Meanwhile, U.S. officials worked to detain Abu Abbas, one of 2 Palestinians on the Egyptian aircraft. Abbas is thought to be a terrorist leader and a close associate of Yasser Arafat. The president decided on the mission yesterday in Chicago, 11:55 Eastern Time. At a bakery in Deerfield, Illinois, the president listens to a proposal by his advisors to divert the aircraft should it leave Egypt. He approves the plan in principle. 1:45, the president moves on to a high school in Chicago, where his aides privately express anger at the Egyptian government for agreeing to give the hijackers free passage. 4 o'clock, as the president leaves Chicago, he gets word that the Egyptian plane is about to take off. He gives the final order to intercept.
And he said, all right, let's make sure we stay on top of it, stay in close touch with the Italian government, and let me know the moment anything changes. And he said, but go ahead and let's execute.
Many U.S. officials are still angry at Egypt and President Mubarak for letting the hijackers go.
There's too much at stake with regard to peace in the Middle East for us to let a single incident of one kind or a disagreement of this kind color that relationship.
Official Washington reflected the mood of the country over the success of the operation, outright elation.
This morning, the American giant stretched out its little finger and exacted a fitting bit of retribution.
Many terrorism specialists believe this mission to Sicily may well spark acts of retaliation against Americans. But at the White House today, there was no second guessing. Said one top official, this is a time of renewal and strengthening for all of us. Leslie Stahl, CBS News, the White House.
At rest on the runway, surrounded by security, the Egypt Air jet sat all day, looking ironically like yet another passenger plane held under siege. But today, the hijackers were the prisoners, being interrogated by Italian authorities while U.S. and Italian troops kept security tight at the Sigonella military base.
From orders of the captain, he wanted the base closed off.
In all, 19 people were reportedly aboard the plane when it was forced down in Sicily. They included 5 Egyptian diplomats and 2 officials of a PLO group. Prime Minister Bettino Craxi promised Italy plans to put the 4 hijackers on trial. Arrest warrants have already been issued.
But how soon the men can be brought to court and how effectively they can be tried is being questioned tonight by experts in Italian law.
The fact that American jets forced the Egyptian plane here will cause problems for the prosecution.
They were brought into Italy, to my mind, with a clear violation of international law. I know the aims is good, but the means is certainly a crime.
And despite a recent Italian-American treaty, it would also be difficult to turn the prisoners over. There are legal roadblocks to extradition to a country that allows the death penalty. For Italians, the American action has raised another issue. Commentators here are expressing fears Italy may now become a target for terrorists' revenge. Richard Roth, CBS News, Rome.
Tonight, the intercepted Egyptian jet was flown from Sicily to Rome Military Airport. 2 Italian fighter jets as escort. Reason for this flight and who was aboard, not known. For all the advanced practice on paper, for all the know-how on the spot, it took high-tech and low-down seat-of-the-pants gumption to pick out a plane, force it down, and not have to fire a shot. Pentagon correspondent David Martin has more on exactly what went into this fly-by-night operation that worked like a charm.
Defense Secretary Weinberger was on a visit to Canada when he received the order from President Reagan to force the Egyptian plane down, no matter what it takes. Weinberger warned it might take firing across the plane's bow. The president said he didn't care. The aircraft carrier Saratoga reversed course and steamed south. At 2:15 Eastern Time, already nightfall in the Mediterranean, 4 F-14 interceptors like these, armed with cannons and missiles, scrambled into the air. Hawkeye radar planes were sent to track the Egyptian airliner. Intercepted communications revealed when the Egyptian plane would take off and where it was going. The Navy planes waited south of Crete, flying with their lights out, inspecting commercial airliners as they went by, searching for the Egyptian 737.
It's a crowded airspace over in the Mediterranean, lots of aircraft flying, but we know how to ferret out wheat from chaff. We know how to move in cleanly and in a way that's non-threatening.
At first, they shadowed the 737, silently listening as it requested and was refused permission to land in Tunisia, then turned toward Athens only to be denied landing rights again. Then the F-14 surrounded the 737. The Hawkeyes ordered the Egyptian plane to follow them to Sicily or else. The planes landed at 6:45 Eastern Time, and the 737 was surrounded by American commandos who had been sent to Sicily earlier in the crisis for a possible rescue mission. U.S. officials wanted to keep the 4 terrorists, but Italy insisted on its rights. That was about the only hitch in what officials touted as a flawless operation which should give terrorists pause.
What we would be very much hope would be that the firmness and and I will have to say the high military skill that was exhibited in this situation would deter incidents of this kind in the future.
But officials also point out this was a unique situation, one in which the hijackers virtually flew into the waiting arms of the U.S. Navy. It is an entirely different matter to find and punish terrorists in places like Beirut, where so many Americans have been kidnapped and murdered. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
For many Americans coast to coast today, the mission was the message. Terrorists seen worldwide waving from an Egyptian tugboat in triumph a short time ago, tonight presumably had the smiles wiped off their faces. Bob Simon reports the reaction at home.
I just want to call and tell you that I've never felt so good since World War II ended.
We had finally gotten it right. We had evened the score.
My president came through, and I'm proud and I show it. You could hear the New York accent in the Daily News headline, "We bag the bums." You could not hear many dissenting voices in Manhattan today. In Times Square, the sentiment was, it's about time.
It's about time that we did something about it. I really hope these guys get what's coming to them.
We had plucked him out of the sky and dropped him in Sicily. It was an offer they could not refuse. In Miami Beach today, the word was very nice, wonderful.
I thought America did the most wonderful things they ever did. I'm telling you, I was thrilled.
I was delighted. I was ecstatic.
There were Americans with special interests and memories. Americans who had spent more time than they ever thought they would hijacked in Beirut.
Well, this is probably the first time you've ever seen me smile on television. I'm elated, and I'm immensely proud of the action that our government took.
I almost felt like standing up and cheering for President Reagan. He's done something.
Felt good today on the campus of Georgia Tech.
It's good that President Reagan is finally getting around to practicing what he preaches.
I think it was about time the U.S. stood up and took some type of action.
Here we are taking a little initiative and sticking it back to them.
Sticking it to them was of some consolation, even to the friends of Leon Klinghoffer.
I thought it was very, very smart that they were able to accomplish this thing. And to think that 4 ignoramuses could get away with something like this is unbelievable.
And the talk you heard in the bars of America today was tough talk.
I think we should get them over here. Every one they kill of ours, kill 2 of theirs. That's just eye of an eye and tooth for a tooth.
That line was written in the Middle East. And before they opened too many bottles of champagne, some Americans reflected, if that's what we're talking about, the war is not over.
I don't think the last shot, unfortunately, has been heard in this battle.
And in this particular case, we went out and we did what we had to do, and I felt wonderful, really, because I'm proud, you know.
It was not historic, we had not won a war, but it was the first time in a long time America had done something that was daring and audacious and that worked. Bob Simon, CBS News, New York.
The United States did last night what it's threatened to do on many occasions.
Does Apple Raisin Crisp get its homemade taste? Homemade taste? From apples like Grandma baked.
Tastes like my recipe.
Does Apple Raisin Crisp get its homemade taste from the raisins that sweeten its taste?
I love raisins.
Where does Apple Raisin Crisp get its delicious homemade taste?
From Kellogg's.
And now, big juicy chunks of real apple bring out more of the delicious taste in new Apple Raisin Crisp cereal. Mmm.
Everybody loves Super Brand ice cream. Every little child and every little pup. They love Winn-Dixie Super Brand ice cream. They want to eat the whole thing up. What happened to my Super Brand ice cream? What happened to my Super Brand cone? Oh, what's sad about Super Brand ice cream is when it's all gone.
Better get some more Super Brand from Winn-Dixie, Mom.
For the record, the official response of Egypt to the U.S. intercept of its plane was decidedly cold. Whether this might be to mask any behind-the-scenes help the U.S. got from Egypt and to deflect any Palestinians' notion of retaliating against Egypt is simply unclear and unknown. Doug Tennell is in Cairo.
Delighted. I'm delighted. Great. Yeah. I'm very pleased.
But Egypt was not. American Ambassador Nicholas Veliotis was summoned to the Foreign Ministry in Cairo tonight, arriving late and left to wait while the Foreign Minister spoke to President Mubarak. Men representing two nations that are supposed to be special friends. No handshake, no diplomatic pleasantries, even the usual friendly chatter for the cameras abandoned. They met privately for only 22 minutes. A terse 15-second statement hinted at a trade-off.
He discussed with him the latest development concerning the hijacking of the Italian ship and the interception of the Egyptian airplane.
While Washington talked of damage control, Egypt considered the damage already done.
How will this incident affect the relations between Egypt and Israel? And the United States?
No comment yet.
The first sign of Egypt's anger over the grounding of its aircraft came within hours when the government rescinded permission for the Achille Lauro to sail as scheduled at dawn. Americans from the Achille Lauro in Cairo thought they wouldn't leave until tomorrow. A private travel agency was booking them on commercial flights back home. But the shopping excursions were abruptly cut short when the American government laid plans for them to travel tonight. They left their Cairo hotel apparently uncertain of their destination.
They're just putting us on a plane. We're going to go home.
6 other Americans who had planned to continue sailing on the Achille Lauro had their course changed once again.
No comment.
They departed from Cairo Airport tonight from an unlit corner of the runway. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Cairo.
President Reagan phoned the family of Leon Klinghoffer today to express condolences. He said he would call Mrs. Klinghoffer personally when she gets home. The seajack of the Achille Lauro involved the nationals of many countries. It captured attention worldwide, and so did the surprise U.S. action to nab the pirates who did it. Steve Kropp has the view from abroad.
It was the big story all over Western Europe today.
The United States did last night what it's threatened to do on many occasions.
No chest pounding, just quiet applause.
Yes, it's about time I did it right, isn't it? It's Rambo stuff, isn't it?
In Britain, a few opposition leaders and several law professors said the U.S. action violated international law. Mrs. Thatcher's government seemed unperturbed.
These people, these terrorists, will face trial in a court of law, which is one of the objects of the International Conventions Against Terrorism. That would not have happened, so it seems, had this action not been taken.
The Russians, who still have 3 diplomats held hostage in Lebanon, played the story straight. No scolding, not even a raised eyebrow. The Israelis called it decisive action, a major contribution to the international war against terrorism. Foreign Minister Yitzhak Shamir said the events this week have unmasked the true character of the PLO. Yasser Arafat, who played a key role in the hostages' release, spent much of the day denying reports that he'd been involved in the ship takeover. He still insists a splinter group is responsible, but the PLO called the American action piracy.
It was a hijacking of the hijackers, and it doesn't make the United States with its F-14 any better than any hijacker with a knife behind the pilot.
The PLO is already predicting that radical factions will attack a U.S. or Italian target within the next month, trying to secure the release of their comrades now imprisoned in Rome. It may well happen, but the terrorists can no longer feel confident that their act will go unpunished. Steve Croft, CBS News, London.
Less than 24 hours after he went on television to praise PLO leader Yasser Arafat, an official of an Arab-American group was killed today by what police are saying was a bomb. David Dow in Los Angeles reports the man's words may have proved fatal.
The explosion rocked the building housing, among other tenants, the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee's Western Regional Office. The regional director, Alex Oda, later died in a hospital. 7 others were injured. Just last night, Oda had been interviewed on television, commenting on the Achille Lauro hijackers.
And if the Egyptian government would give them to the PLO or to the Italian government, the PLO will punish them.
Police said they had no evidence so far to indicate the bombing was politically motivated. But neighbors, shaken by the loud blast, drew their own conclusions.
I mean, we're in America. That's not supposed to happen here. You don't expect terrorists.
For a time, officials worried there might be a second device in the building, but their search did not confirm that. A national spokesman for the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee tonight condemned the incident, saying terrorism has no place on American soil. David Dell, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Beyond this door is a rug so dirty it's a horror show. But open further. We cleaned half with Woolite spray foam. The Woolite rug cleaner that gets out deep ground-in dirt even from heavy traffic areas. The difference? Beautiful. Turn a horror show into a rug you're proud to show with Woolite spray foam. It gets out deep ground-in dirt.
Good posture. You don't think about it until you realize you can lose it. 1 out of 4 women may, due in part to a calcium deficiency. That's why there's Posture, a new calcium supplement. Without enough calcium, bones can become porous and weak, but Posture, taken daily, can help them stay strong, and it's specially made not to produce gas. Don't wait. Eat right, exercise, and take new Posture now to help assure good posture later.
Now, about today's other bolt from the blue news, the word that President Reagan has had more cancer cells removed from his face. White House correspondent Bill Plant has the latest about that.
They say the doctor had felt.
Reporters waiting to hear the president on the capture of the terrorists were startled to see a circular patch on the bridge of his nose. He quickly volunteered the reason.
The doctor has been keeping track of me since the first operation for skin cancer on my nose, and felt that there was some additional work needed. He did the additional work, and a biopsy revealed there were some cancer cells.
Another skin cancer, basal cell carcinoma, the mildest and one of the most common cancers, removed yesterday.
And following the little minor operation there is such that, as I say, I can stand before you proudly and say my nose is clean.
Doctors removed the first skin cancer July 30th, and controversy erupted because Mrs. Reagan and the White House staff were reluctant to admit it was cancer so soon after the president's colon surgery. Sources now say the doctors noticed the second growth at that time but weren't sure what it was. Physicians not connected with the president's case say this is normal, as is the recurrence of skin cancer.
It's very likely that once an individual has had one skin cancer, then they may have other skin cancers. And that, of course, is because skin cancer is related to cumulative sun damage to the skin.
Doctors also stress the skin cancer has nothing whatever to do with the president's colon cancer. That doesn't stop the president and the first lady from worrying about what people will think. Sources say Mr. Reagan was reluctant to appear today, but finally decided it was best to do so. Bill Plant, CBS News, the White House.
End of the model year deals at automobile showrooms last month were largely responsible for lower wholesale prices and higher retail prices. Led by a drop in the cost of cars, wholesale prices fell 0.6% in September, and lower prices led to the strongest month for auto sales in 4 years, pushing overall retail sales up 2.7%.
Don't believe everything you hear about fiber laxatives. The truth is, only one brand is recommended by doctors more than any other. Only one offers you the sugar-free choice of NutraSweet. Only one offers all these flavors and forms. It's the one you've trusted for over 50 years. Metamucil. Original and sugar-free, with 4 times more soluble fiber than even Pure brand, to help you maintain regularity. For the fiber you need every day, there's only one. Metamucil.
Now, Sears' biggest hardware sale of the year, with big savings on hundreds of items. Save on these Craftsman benchtop tools. This drill press, table saw, or bandsaw, $99.99. This Craftsman driller circular saw, $39.99. And save on this Craftsman blade pack or drill bit set, $16.99. For more big savings, come to Sears National Hardware Sale now.
There's more for your life at Sears.
The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded today to a group of physicians who practice what's been called the ultimate in preventive medicine. Steve Young reports.
They celebrated today at the headquarters in Boston of International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War, which has grown from 17 doctors to 135,000 in 41 countries. The American and Russian co-founders got the news in Geneva, where they were marking the 5th anniversary of the group's founding.
This Nobel Prize, it is prize, first of all, not only for us, but for all doctors.
We either have one world or no world. We either live together or die together. There is no other option.
Dr. Lowndes' mother heard about the Nobel Prize from a reporter.
He said, "I have news for you." So I got frightened. He said, "I have good news for you."
After the doctors appeared on Soviet TV, they were asked if they weren't being used for propaganda.
If the discussion is about diminishing nuclear weapons, we don't mind if we are dupes of the Russians, of the Chinese, of the Americans, or anybody else.
The physicians say announcement of the award couldn't have come at a better time, on the eve of the U.S.-Soviet summit and with the arms talks underway. Steve Young, CBS News, Boston.
In Detroit today, a gunman opened fire during lunch hour at a crowded McDonald's restaurant. 8 teenagers were wounded, none critically. Police and witnesses said the shootings may have resulted from a fight that began at a nearby high school. 3 youths were arrested. Police believe one is the gunman.
You won't believe how great it holds.
Your lower dentures.
It's extra hold for lowers.
Finally, I can eat, sing,
even laugh with more confidence.
It's extra hold for lowers.
You won't believe how great it holds your lower dentures without messy ooze.
It's extra hold for lowers, and it's new from Fast Teeth. You won't believe how great it holds your lowers.
You won't believe it.
The new 1986 Cadillac Cimarron. There really are 2 ways to look at it. Some people like it for all the luxury they get. Standard, push-button air, tilt wheel, cruise, power just about everything. Or it's available with more pizzazz, even more power. Either way, 1986 Cimarron people have one thing in common.
Best of all, it's a Cadillac.
Well, maybe 2 things in common.
The makers of Tylenol have recently made pain relief better with extra-strength caplets. Look. Caplets are specially designed. They're shaped and coated to make them especially easy to swallow. Extra-strength caplets, only from Tylenol.
Once man's feet walked free,
In time, he developed shoes. Soon, man developed athlete's foot.
Egad.
Today, there's Mycotin with Myconazole, a patented ingredient to cure athlete's foot. Mycotin, the end of the road for athlete's foot.
Oh boy, it has been another week when terrorism has gripped us all. A week we'd like to try to end somehow on a lighter note. So Martha Teichner takes us up, up, and away.
Tongues of flame flash and then disappear. While Albuquerque sleeps, its black sky is lit up with radiant neon color, transparent, glowing. Drifting across the sky, there are just 3 balloons, soon silhouetted against a thin early light. Their magic fades with the morning star. But already in the paleness of dawn, there are others, almost 500 balloons gathered for the 14th annual Albuquerque International Balloon Festival, swelling on their sides, a living kaleidoscope, turning, changing, accompanied by the noisy frenzy to fill them and send them aloft.
The best part of all of it is putting them up. You're exploding with pride. You know, that's my balloon up there. I don't care if you own the balloon or not.
When the Albuquerque Festival started, 16 balloons were launched from a shopping center parking lot. Now it is the biggest gathering of balloons in the world.
Being in a balloon is being away from it all. It's a freedom from reality, I think. I mean, you're a part of a fantasy.
There is a balloonist's poem. The winds have welcomed you with softness. The sun has blessed you with his warm hand and flown so high and so well. God has joined you in your laughter. Martha Teichner, CBS News, Albuquerque.
And that's the CBS Evening News for this Friday. Dan Rather reporting from New York. We'll see you here Monday. Good night.
The first time I heard about Docalax was when I was in the hospital 4.5 years ago with the birth of my first child, and my doctor recommended it.
Why is Anne Ruiz so loyal to Docalax laxatives?
When I'm constipated, I feel miserable. Docalax relieves it, within an hour, and it makes me feel a whole lot better. It's very dependable, and it works right on time.
Docalax suppositories can work in 15 minutes to 1 hour. Docalax tablets predictably overnight.
Docalax makes my life a lot easier. It relieves my constipation, which makes me a lot happier person.
Announcing the Kmart Oktoberfest sale with savings like men's Dickie flannel shirts, only $4.77. Women's Gitano jeans are $9 after rebate. Hershey Kisses or assortment, just $1.99. Sayel yarn, 88 cents. Our own microwave oven, just $128. Plus a lot more. Look for your Oktoberfest sale circular, then come to Kmart. It's where we flannel kind of guys like to shop.
You can't do better than Kmart, the saving place.
Did he move?
Looking for a loan? Tried talking to a financial institution? Big, impersonal. Looks like you need a friend. At Beneficial, we're big.
Hi, I'm Fred.
But very personal. You'll talk to the boss when you talk to Beneficial. So there's no committee, no waiting. Everything could be wrapped up in 24 hours.
Congratulations.
Thanks, big guy.
Thank you.
Beneficial. Talk to the manager and you're talking to the boss.
On the NFL. For the news you can trust, turn to the experience you'll find every weeknight on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather. When it's important, America turns to CBS News.
In our news tonight, across-the-board sentence reduction for inmates are part of the latest